Welcome to Supply Chain Recap, a brief discussion that recaps a recent industry webcast presentation. I'm Dave Maloney, the Group Editorial Director at DC Velocity. Joining me today is Deanna Kaufman, Vice President of Product Management at Körber Supply Chain Software, and also with us is Jeff Hill, Senior Director, Global Supply Chain at Titan Brands. Welcome, Jeff and Deanna. It's good to have you with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, David.
Both of you just completed a webcast together, and we're going to discuss the highlights of your presentations. So to start with, Jeff, who is Titan Brands and what do you do in the industry?
Yes, Titan Brands is a direct-to-consumer e-commerce retailer with multiple different brands, from fitness equipment to tractor attachments and outdoor lifestyle equipment. We're a leader in overall e-commerce and a growing business over the last 10 to 15 years.
And Deanna, who is Körber Supply Chain Software?
Well, Körber Supply Chain Software is really the leader in supply chain execution software, and we have leading WMS, OMS, TMS now with the acquisition of MercuryGate, and freight audit and pay solutions. So we're here to create the best possible environment so that our customers are very successful in keeping their customers happy.
Great, thank you. And you are a very well-known and successful brand in the industry. Let me turn back to Jeff again a moment. And today we're going to be talking about your warehouse management system and your order management system that you installed that were provided by Körber. So thinking back, what was it like before you had those two systems installed, and what were the challenges that you faced?
Yeah, we have lots of manual processes from people calling down, managers calling down to the workers in the warehouse, telling them what they needed to do next. Whereas now, all of that work is directed to them through the system. We on the OMS front, we had people who were manually going through orders and trying to figure out which warehouse they needed to come out of, what different carrier we needed to use for those, and when we needed to get them out to the customer.
And Deanna, what does having that kind of combination of an order management system and a warehouse management system bring to the table for your clients?
Well, for our clients, they are looking for a way to manage their supply chain both inside and outside of the four walls. And the way that I think about that is that the WMS really governs all the processes that happen within the four walls and understanding all your inputs as well as what you need to do from a fulfillment perspective out of that distinct node. When you add on an OMS, you're effectively creating an orchestration layer, and that will add on other visibility tools, unveil all your inventory across multiple channels, whether they're owned or not, whether it's a 3PL, whether you're using vendor managed inventory, or maybe you're using other distribution nodes like stores, because the very first step always from a pillar of execution is really unveiling the inventory. And then once you have that visibility, then you can start to create the best possible business rules and decisions to make sure that your customers are happy. And that really goes all the way through making the product available to sell, being able to fulfill in the most optimal way, and being able to provide customer service. And in particular, that combination of the WMS and OMS does all of that orchestration together for Titan Brands and other of our customers.
Great. And Jeff, looking back now that you have the OMS and the WMS in combination, what has that brought to your operations?
It's brought a synchronicity between the two, right? Both the integration between the OMS and the WMS, being able to closely talk to each other. Like Deanna said, it's one is the brains and one is the execution layer. It's given us one place to go to for support between the whole system, where someone or where a company knows our processes from end to end, from when that order comes in from our website all the way through to when it goes out the door to the customer, and actually all the way through to when it's delivered to the customer.
Sounds like you've made some good progress there. So what does the future hold for Titan Brands?
We're looking at some different things around local pickups and being able for consumers to be able to pick up from our warehouse for customers that are nearby. Potentially international shipping as well. We've always struggled with that and having the correct documentations and paperwork and being able to have that print out to the places or on the printers and places that it's needed at the time it's needed, where where these systems will allow us to make sure that the right documentation is included with every shipment.
So it sounds like you've become more customer centric and are providing a lot better service now that you have the resources to be able to move forward in those areas.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing, is increased visibility. So it's something that it's already given us, but increased visibility for our salespeople, for our customer service people into the life cycle of that order. It's really all about setting the expectations for the customer and meeting those expectations.
Now that you've gone through this process, what advice would you have if you were just now beginning the OMS and WMS evaluation or deployment process?
The advice I normally give people is to make sure you're simplifying your processes. Over time things get bloated and you end up with a lot of things that become more difficult to maintain, and use an implementation as a chance to really review all of the different processes you have, all of your requirements, and make sure that you're doing it in the most efficient manner possible.
And Deanna, if someone was just starting the process and trying to evaluate a combination of a WMS and an OMS, and they're looking for a provider, what should they look for and how would they find out information about Körber?
Well, the way that I would suggest that somebody look at it is sort of dovetailing off of what Jeff said, really, is that they should understand really what does that overall landscape look like for them. I try to coach customers into thinking about, are they able to unveil that inventory? Do they have multiple sources? Do they have multiple channels or brands? And think through what is the complexity that they have and how can they simplify it? And what do they need to do to have an orchestration layer as well as control their own distribution nodes and channels? So it's certainly a multifaceted opportunity to improve supply chain results, because really what all of your buyers want, whether it's B2C or B2B, they're looking for choice, convenience, and control. And the combination of the OMS and the WMS allows our customers like Titan Brands to fulfill anything at any time to anyone from anywhere, and do it in an optimized way that increases customer lifetime value. And that's really the name of the game, is the happy customer. But we would love to have anybody come and talk with us more about what Körber can do for you. You can find us at körber-supplychain.com, as well as you can certainly work with any one of our partners in our partner ecosystem, and we would be delighted to speak with you about how we can help you.
Right, that's very good advice. We've been talking today with Jeff Hill of Titan Brands and Deanna Kaufman of Körber Supply Chain Software, and this has been Supply Chain Recap.